Welcome back to Ant Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain the film The Midnight Sky. Released in the year 2020, the movie starts and the future time is seen, where the Earth's environment is totally damaged. The environment of Earth has not left for the human survival. Either the people have left to another planet, leaving Earth, or many of the people have met their death. Later, spaceship is seen landing. The survivors of Earth were going to move to another planet through this spaceship. In fact, they all were scientists. They were present on Earth, so they may bring any amendment in the environment of Earth. When their all efforts had dashed into the dust, then they had also decided to leave the Earth. After this, an aged scientist named Augustine is shown in the movie. He did not want to leave the Earth. He wanted to spend his last time on Earth because he suffered cancer disease, and he knew that he will be died after a time. So he forbids to move to another planet. It is known here that Augustine was the greatest owner of a well-known company, and he was also financially sound, so it was not difficult for him to live on Earth. He was also treating his cancer disease. While other scientists had moved to another planet, Augustine was only one who was present on Earth. Meanwhile, Augustine's past life flashback is also shown. When he was in bloom of his youth, he was a capable scientist in this age, and he had also discovered a planet at that time, where people may survive going there. He struggled a lot and searched for such a planet with his efforts. He was telling all in a seminar that humans may survive on another planet except Earth, moving there. Augustine also finds a girl in the seminar. Augustine had started to like that girl at the first sight. After a time, they both had also wedded. But Augustine's wife was so upset from him here, because Augustine was not habitual to give attention to anyone except his work, not even to his wife. Distances begin to create between them gradually. Then Augustine's wife decided to separate from him. She will leave him. After this, she leaves, divorcing Augustine. Then future time is again seen where Augustine comes on the scene. Augustine had received a notification on his screen that a spaceship's people want to contact him. That spaceship is seen later. It is known here that this spaceship had also been sent to space by Augustine's company. Their mission included to know about a planet moving there. 6 years had passed as they sent this spaceship to that planet. Now this spaceship had left to land on Earth again. The people were in the spaceship for a long time, and they did not know what is Earth's condition right now, nor they had knowledge as there is no one on Earth. There was only Augustine who could guide them accurately, but he was facing difficulty to tell them anything because of his disease. He was not recalling anything about them. He recalls when he tries that it was their company which sent this spaceship to space. Now Augustine had to help them. Then the scene moves to the spaceship where group members are seen. Who were in the spaceship? There was a girl in their spaceship. There was also their commander with other people. They were exerting to contact the Earth for a long time, but their contact had become possible with Augustine. Now Augustine was waiting as he can send message to them after 11 hours, but his kitchen is set on fire at the same time. He discovers a little girl when he goes to extinguish the fire. Augustine was surprised on finding this little girl here. Augustine was trying to talk with that little girl. He knows while talking as that little girl was dumb, but he was still trying to discover how this little girl appeared here. Meanwhile, she was conveying a message to Augustine through her drawing. She makes a drawing through which Augustine knows that this little girl's name is Iris. Then Augustine recalls that 11 hours have passed, and he had to contact with other spaceship's people. He knows while contacting as there was network issue. Due to this, He was finding difficulty to contact with them. Augustine goes to set his network signal, but of no use. He was thinking the switch action may be taken now. Augustine's understanding had also more developed with that little girl, and Augustine had to cure him by himself here. Suddenly, he glimpses a planet here. It was such a planet with which he could contact. He thinks if he contact with this planet, they can also contact with another planet. He decides to leave this planet and also asks to accompany that little girl. He did not know when he will return back. This was the cause that he was carrying that little girl with him. He also takes some dresses and oxygen with him. Augustine was exhausted after crossing a little distance. Then the ice below him is cracked and he begins to drown. He rescues himself and that girl there. Now his all-important items had also been sunk. He decides further to set out on the foot. But Augustine could not walk so fast because he was sick. His condition was so worse while walking. Snowstorm was also starting there, and it was becoming difficult to see around. Snow was everywhere. That little girl's hand is separated from Augustine's hand in this. He was so disturbed. He begins to search for that little girl. After a great search, that little girl had been found by Augustine. He restarts his journey further. Now he had discovered that place, then the scene shifts on the same scientist, who was in the spaceship. He was thinking this, they have strayed and they are moving on the wrong direction. All people decide to move to the accurate direction. No one had any information about this way. What will happen with them while moving ahead? In spite of this, they move to this way, flying their spaceship. On the other side, Augustine, who is finding possible to contact with them. He tells them about the Earth. Then their connection is disrupted. Now another character, Sully, decides that she will move outside, and she will restore her connection to contact Augustine again. The path of this place was so perilous, surrounded by the cliffs. Sully restores her connection, moving with her partner outside. But other cliff hinders the connection. Its presence again disrupts their connection again. Spaceship had crashed with a big rock, and they were badly wounded. One group member also dies, but Sully restores her strength. She repairs her network connection and also contacts Augustine. Augustine informs her that Earth is solely abandoned, having no human sign. All people have moved to another planet from Earth. You may return to K23 planet. The people may survive there easily. When Augustine comes to know this, that they have strayed from the right direction, then he guides them right direction. And he advises them to return to K23 planet. Sully tells this to his group members who were so worried. Now 2 group members were disagreed with this, that they will stay, moving on another planet. They wanted to land on Earth. The pilot of spaceship was still thinking this, that his wife is on Earth. Augustine explains to him again and again, as there is nothing on Earth, not even the human sign. All people either have gone to another planet or died on this planet. That pilot says, I will still land on Earth, no matter my wife is no more. He flies to the Earth, taking another spaceship. Then Sully again talks with Augustine, and she says, do you know this? It was my big dream to contact you. Because she took in her ideal. She chose this field because of him. And he had adopted the profession astronaut after learning from him. She tells him her name, Iris Sully. Hearing the name of Iris, Augustine recalls his younger daughter. He knows that Iris Sully was the name of his daughter. When he sees that little girl running hurriedly, there was no one. It is revealed here that there was not a little girl named Iris. It was just the fantasy of Augustine. It was his imagination. Augustine's way of survival was only that little girl. and Augustine with his wife continued their struggle to move to Planet 23. And his daughter may remain safe and sound there forever. His mind faced disorders when he begins to forget the things. Then he imagined a little girl to make her the reason of his life, and it was only the cause that Augustine was alive. It is known here that Sully was no one else but Augustine's daughter. He did not want to tell her that he is her father, because he used to think that her daughter will carry him with her, landing on Earth. Augustine wanted to talk with his daughter here. He asks her, "How does K23 planet?" Sully tells him everything. Augustine feels excitement, hearing about her K23 planet. He guides them to move there, and Sully moves to 23, taking her partner. She tells, survival of human being is possible on planet K23, and all searcher can come here who had gone in search of other planets. The scene moves to Augustine, who was fearless and bold. He was stood under the sky because he knew that his life's mission has accomplished. He cares not at all even if he dies. The movie completes on this scene.